So, today I have a very exciting project for us to do because today I want to write a color picker. Now, anyone who's worked with pretty much any image editing software knows this color picker here that I'm talking about. So basically, here you can change the hue, and then in this square you can pick a color of that hue, I guess. And most importantly, then it gives you here this output of that color that you picked, say this blue here, in the different color spaces. So here we have some hue saturation something color space, then obviously RGB, and then also the hex code. And yeah, I just got the idea for this project the other day, and I wanted to make a video about this as fast as I could, basically. Yeah, so today we'll be recreating this in Python. Now, we're gonna do this in Pygame. I don't know why my terminal looks so weird, but oh well. So, we'll import Pygame, and as per usual, let's just get a simple window up and running, get a game loop up and running, and then we can talk about the specifics. So, as far as I remember, we do pygame.init at first. So we initialize it, and then we make a screen. This is a pygame.display, and we set the mode and input width and a height. So again, 900 by 600 are numbers that always work well. So a width and a height. Okay, and then we can set up the game loop. So we make our running variable, that is true. And while we are running, we start polling for events. Especially the quit event is what we're interested in the beginning. So we do for event in pygame.event.get. And we check if the event is the quit event. So if event.type is pygame.quit, then we set running to false. So this will make us break out of the loop. And then we do pygame.quit, I think. Yeah, so I think by now I've got the basic Pygame loop memorized. So this should open us, yes, a Pygame window that is 900 by 600. Okay, I think what I'll do in the beginning is I'll kind of block out how my color picker is going to look. So obviously we'll need this this square here, and then I'll want some horizontal bar where I can pick the hue. Yeah, you'll have to excuse my Photoshop is still in German. I accidentally, when I first installed it, I had it in German because that was the default setting, and it's been a bit of a pain because obviously I learned it in English, like the English Photoshop. So every time I have to do like a thumbnail or something, I'm always struggling to find, what is what, because I don't know the English or like the German names for all that. But anyway, so let's try to block it out. I'll, here in the loop, let's just draw some rectangles on the screen and see how that goes. So we'll do pygame.drawRect onto the screen. The color, just make it red as per usual. And then for the rectangle, we just pass in the tuple with the top left corner and the width and the height. How about 100 and 100 for the position, and make it 300 by 300. So no. Oh yeah, obviously. So I've drawn the rectangle, but we don't see anything. That is because we didn't tell Pygame to update the display. So we do pygame.display and flip it. So we update. Yeah, and there it is. Okay. actually, I think we can make it a bit bigger. Let's do 350 and move it in. Let's do 200 and 150 maybe there, you know. Actually, maybe 100 was... Let's do 125. Yeah, I think this is good. So this is going to be... it's good that I can always bring up Photoshop and just show it here. This is going to be the square. Then next to it, I'll want some vertical bar. So that's that. Then we do, again, another rectangle onto the screen. And you're gonna be blue. Because why not? So for the rectangle, let's do... So, well, that's gonna be like, let's do 600, 125. So it should start at the same height as the square. And you'll have, well, a width of less. Let's do 50 and 350 again. So let's see how that looks. Yeah, okay. Maybe actually even a bit closer. So instead of 600, let's do 575 and half the width maybe. Okay, yeah. Look, it's starting to take shape. Again, we're just gonna block out the rough idea. Actually, I might as well make everything a bit bigger because apart from these things, I guess all we're gonna need is, I do want to have some RGB display, or like some display of what the color space is. And also maybe to show the current color. Yeah, so I guess we can move everything a bit to the left and make it bigger. So let's do 150. Make you 400 by 400. So what, you're gonna be 125 then, I think. And 400 in length. We can shift it over even. So let's do 100. I think that's the value I started with, so I just come full circle, but okay. 100. Yeah, okay, okay. Let's not mess around with this too much. So that's looks fine. Then I'll have a display of the color here. So we can just copy this rectangle. You'll make green. And you'll be at do 6. Let's do or maybe 575. You're going to be a rectangle of size 100 by 100. How does that look? Okay, yeah, sure. And below here, we're going to have some text. We're going to worry about having fonts drawn to the screen later because that requires some bit of a different syntax that I just didn't have memorized yet. We'll look that up in a second. Okay, so that's the basic shapes blocked out. Let's get started with the square. Now, I don't know why, but I do want to put it in a class. So that's going to be the set val square. Because if you think about it, if we have like a closer look to the on this color picker here, basically what it's showing in this default variant, that's I think the one that's most people know, is it works in hue, saturation, value, colors, or brightness, call it what you will. So this slider changes the hue. So wait, maybe I'll place it somewhere here. So if I move this slider around, you see all the colors jump around. But if we look at this tuple here only the hue changes. Okay, my antivirus just popped up for some reason. Okay, let's continue. Now, if we scroll around here, you can see that it only changes the hue of the color. And if I scroll around here, it changes both the saturation and the value, but again, leaves the hue untouched. So it's this thread controls the saturation value, while the rectangle here is going to be the one for the hue. So now how this works, from what I can tell, the x-axis is the saturation. So right here, again, you see only the saturation changes. And the y-axis is the brightness. So yeah, so basically, and I'll make it interactable, so wherever I click, it should then be translated into hue and saturation. Okay, we'll worry about the hue later. Let's just fill the square with, I don't know, let's start with hue 0, start with red, and make the colors of the square follow, well, the hue and saturation. Okay, so you'll want to know, well, self, then maybe an X and a Y pos where I'll want to draw that square, yeah. The size can be fixed at 400, we've just determined that. And later on, you're gonna ask for a hue. Let's just set it to 0 for now, and yeah. So is X, Y is Y, is the size, and self.hue is the hue. Okay. Then let's have a draw function so it can draw itself onto the screen. Right. So basically what we want to do is go through all of the pixels. So for I in range, and you know what, we can do the same thing we did for the Mandelbrot tiles, if you remember, is that we have a surface. So we have a, so basically we draw the whole square on its own surface and then just paste the surface onto our screen. Makes the logic a bit easier in my mind. You're going to be a pygame.surface. And for I in range, and then we just need to go from 0 to self.size. And the same for J. Yeah. And then okay, let's just put pixels again on the surface and try to paste the surface on the screen. Let's do that. So if I remember correctly, I think it was surface.set at. Now we do an XY coordinate, so IJ. And the color, again, let's keep it red. But make it maybe like a darker red so we can see a difference. Okay. So once we've set all the pixels, then we can do screen.blit the surface, and well, where do we want it? Is at X and Y, self.x, self.y. Okay, I'll remove this rectangle, and up here we'll create our square is the, yeah, sure, set val square at, oh wait, maybe I shouldn't have removed it because now I didn't actually remember the measurements. So the square is gonna be a set val square at 100, 125, and the size is 400, and the hue is set, okay. So in here, instead of the rectangle now, we're gonna do square dot, also let's rename it to set val square, maybe just a bit more expressive, dot draw onto the screen. Okay. Function missing. Oh, right, yes. The surface also wants to know its size. So it's just self.size, self.size. I always forget to put in the size. So, okay, and there you see the exact same square, but a bit darker. And the main difference was obviously that now we drew each pixel separately. Okay, So, obviously now we're gonna have to translate basically this I and J into some saturation and value. So I thought for the color, for all the conversion between the color spaces and all that, we'll use ColorSys. Comes installed in the standard library. And all it is, let's look it up, Python ColorSys, is it has these handful of methods, basically just to transform from color space to here, HSL to RGB, HSV to RGB. Does it have a hex one actually? Doesn't. Okay, but the hex one is actually almost the easiest, so I think we'll manage to do that. Okay, so we'll use that to actually work with the colors, because Pygame wants colors in RGB because that's the easiest for the computers to deal with, obviously. But as I said, this one is better to express in the hue, saturation, and brightness color space. I think if I click here, you can see, for example, the color wheel for a different color space. Here, for example, RGB. We get this. But again, I think this is the one most people are used to, so we're going to be making this one. Now, let's define a color. And what we'll do, well, the hue, again, we'll set it at 0. I guess we can do self.hue. Let's make it like this. The saturation is, I already forgot which coordinate it was, is the x coordinate. So, and I think ColorSys wants, yeah, we take floats from 0 to 1, basically. Now, because this is my color picker, I get to choose basically my range of the numbers. And I like the ones with going from 0 to 255, where it's integers more, because that's more what we're used to deal with if we talk about computer science. So it should be I over self.size times 2. No, actually, it should be 0, and then we convert it later in the output. So that goes from 0 to 1, and then the same for j self.size. So that is now a tuple for an HSV color space. So maybe we do color HSV, and then we do color RGB is ColorSys dot, and now we want to convert this HSV to RGB colors. And okay, I guess we just unpack the color HSV. Okay, and in here now we pass the color RGB. Okay, let's see that. Okay, it's all black. Okay, did I mess up the coordinates and all this color space are floating point values? Yeah, and all other, the coordinates are all between 0 and 1. Okay. How about we print color RGB for a few? No. Actually, maybe print color HSV. I think that's more important for me. So, quit that. Stop. There you go. Okay. The hue is 0. The saturation is some number between 0 and 1. And the value as well. So that seems right. Okay, how about color RGB? Okay. Oh, obviously. No. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I got it. Yeah. So these are also numbers between 0 and 1, but Pygame already uses the convention of having it with 0 to 255, having integers. So how about we just do, wait, let's just do it like H, S, and V is this tuple. I guess then we might as well just, assign them directly. So H is the hue, V is this, no, saturation, and value is this. And then we pass here hue, saturation, and value. And U, R, and R, G, and B. And then in here, what we draw is 255 times R, 255 times G, and 255 times B. Cannot multiply sequence by non-int type of float. Okay. H times point. No, yeah, wait. Yeah, here. Here, wait. We need to remove the commas. Okay, and there we go. This is what I want. Okay, wonderful. Now it is flipped, isn't it? Wait. Yeah, so black is on the top for us. In Photoshop, black is on the bottom, but that is, again, because I guess I can just use Photoshop here. Because the coordinate system for any image, it's going to be like X to the right and Y going downwards. So we'll start 0 here as opposed to somewhere here. So what we need to do here is do here self.size times, I guess we can do minus J here. Yeah. So invalid color argument. Oh, no, one minus, sorry, like this. Yeah, okay, there you go. That already looks very well, very good. Okay. And now, honestly, let's just because I want to try something, how about we have a variable called hue is, well, 0 at first. And also before I do that, let's limit the FPS. So a clock is a pygame.time clock. And clock.tick. It's limited to 60. Let's update the hue, but then I guess I'll have to move you in here. So hue is going to be the hue. We draw it at that hue. And then right after, I'll do hue equals, well, hue plus 1. Actually, wait, no. Because we want, again, a float. So we do hue plus 0.01. And we have it wrap around, so modulo 1. And this should now have the square be animated. Yeah, there you go. So basically now the code is doing what we would want to do with the slider of just animating this this square right here. Yeah. Also, I guess we don't need to initialize it anew each time. We just set it to 0, and then I can just in here do set vals dot hue equals hue. I think this should work as well. We just set the attribute. Okay. Okay, great. Let's focus on the bar. So that's our square. Let's do hue bar. So similarly to the square, you're going to be asking for an X, a Y, and I guess we give it a width and a height. Now I'll preset those at, what did we say? Here, 25 and 400. Okay. So self.x is x, self.y is y. Just set all the attributes. Self.height is height. Okay. And again, you also have a draw function to the screen. And I guess I can just copy this more or less. Just get the... Actually, let's take the whole draw function. Just pass it into here. Because I think we can actually reuse most of it. So the I and the J are basically updated. And now what we want to change, there it is the hue. So in here, the colors did, at least to me, look like that full saturation and full brightness. So all the colors from up here, basically. And all we got to do is set the hue according to the y coordinates. So saturation is 1, value is 1. And the hue is, well, what do we say? Self.j over self. Oh yeah, also we need to change size to width and height. So height, surface is, because it's not square anymore, so it's a width by a height. Same here, width and height. Height. Not self.j, just j. All right, I think this will be flipped again, but let's just see if it works at all. Oh, maybe I should also create it. So we do the hue bar is a hue bar at 525, 125, and the rest is set. So I can remove this and put in the hue bar dot draw onto the screen. Yeah, and again, it is... Yeah, it's flipped because it goes from red over down to like this purple. And it's flipped for us. That's not an issue because we just do, well, 1 minus the whole thing. Okay, great. This art is starting to take some good shape. How about we just do a bit of just a bit fancy. Have it a bit fancier. So we do, in the beginning, once we flip the display, we do... Oh, what is it? Is it screen.fill? Yeah. And the color should be, I don't know. What is it? Wait, can I not just do 0, do a hex 1b, 2b? I think that's the like this gray that I always use is in my videos and everything. I should be able to just put it in as a hex value, right? Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted. That's that gray. Let's give both things a bit of a backdrop, like a backdrop. And I guess we can just do this. I can do this in the draw function, can't we? How about we give it like a thickness? Yeah, thickness. Let's do 5 pixels. Basically, I just want to give them an outline because, I mean, they don't have it here, but I want to give my color picker and everything an outline. Just, you know, if this is the square right here, let's have something around it that is... Oh, that's not what how do I get the fill tool? Whatever, you get what I'm saying, is just to have like a white outline, just, I don't know, make it stand out a bit. So we'll do a thickness. So and the size is going to be now plus 2 times the self dot thickness. here. And then we offset it at I plus self dot. Actually, let's pull this out to a pause. Is I plus self dot thickness and j plus self dot thickness. And we draw it at pause. And first we fill the surface with, I don't know, say white dot fill at 255 0. No, 255 and 255. So yeah, this gave it a bit of a backdrop. I don't know if I like white, I'll be honest. What if we do 10, 10, and 10? Bit lighter, 20. Did this even make a difference? Wait, 30? Yeah, okay, I can live with that. It's fine, it's fine. So, and we do the same thing now for the hue bar, basically. So we give it thickness, again, of 5 pixels by default. Oh, also maybe pass it in here. Self.thickness is the thickness. And in here we do now the same thing that we just extended right here. Then I'll just copy this again. We fill it. And then we offset the pause again. Again, I'll just copy this because it's the same. All right, okay, add pause. Okay. Yeah, okay. I don't know if this made it any better, but I guess so. Why not? Why not? It's my color pick. I get to decide. So, okay. That's that. How about we handle interactivity? Now, if I click with the mouse, let's break it up into 2 parts. Let's worry about setting the value and saturation, so clicking in the square first. And then we can worry about also setting the hue. Okay, so I'll get rid of this loop here now. Again, okay, we'll just fix the hue, that's fine. So in here, in the event loop, if event.type is a Pygame, a mouse button down. So if I click, again, I print, I don't know, hey. So if I click somewhere, it prints hey now. And so I only want it to print that if I'm inside the square. Can't we do this with Pygame collisions? Because as far as I know, if I remember correctly now, Pygame does have a collision detection. I think in the rect class. Collide point looks about right. Where is it? Up here? Collide point xy to Boolean if the point is inside the rectangle. Oh, I didn't mean to close. Oh well. But do we want that? I guess in this case it would almost be easier, because then I would have to set up a rectangle that kind of like a bounding box that encompasses the square. I think it's easier if we just actually check. So, well, we get the. I guess I'm not going to differentiate between left and right kit, so it doesn't matter. So we get the mouse pause. Pygame.mouse.getPause. And then if mouse pause of 0 On the other hand, let's do the collision. Let's do the collision. Why not? Let's try something, because why not? So let's give it a self dot bounding box is a pygame dot rect of x, y, and size. Yeah. And I guess actually it's just as simple as that. So we do it's a set val square dot bounding box dot collide point with mouse pause print. Hey, let's try this. So I'm pressing outside, nothing happens. Okay, and as soon as I press inside, yeah, okay, let's just use this. I think that makes for a bit cleaner code. Let's just use this. Okay. So if I'm in here, let's try to print out the, I guess, how should I say, the renormalized mouse coordinates. So imagine this is my Pygame window now, and I have the square in here, and I press somewhere in here. It's gonna have a mouse coordinate of, I don't know, actually we can just test it, here. Print mouse pause. So if I press in here, it has a coordinate of here 300 by 200, or up here it's 100 by 130 or something. That's not what we want, basically, to the output to be. Up here it should be, well, 0 and 1. So no saturation and full value. Or up here it's 1 1. So we'll have to like remap this a bit. Okay, also. Okay, the rectangle actually, I think we have to make the bounding box a bit bigger, because it's not recognizing my my clicks on the edge. So I'm still, with the top left part of my mouse, I'm still inside the rectangle, but it doesn't recognize it. But wait, the docs actually said something about that now that I closed it. Pygame docs. Let's do collide point. A point along the right or bottom edge is not considered to be inside the rectangle. Aha. Oh yeah, that is exactly the right edge, because up here, yeah, it works. And down here, I lose it. Let's just roll with this. We can do these minor fixes later. Let's not get bogged down with the details. So, but anyway, we need to like renormalize these coordinates. So, well, the x coordinate is, we said, the saturation. So sat is, and you know what? I'll quickly open up my Mandelbrot project, and I'll just steal the map range function because it's actually a really useful function to have. Mandelbrot set. So over here. Oh yeah, it's even highlighted. So let's just yoink the map range function. Put it up here. So for anyone who didn't watch this video, doesn't remember anymore, basically what this function does is, well, it maps an x coming from a certain range to a target range. So we could do something like print map range at x, say 7 or 6, coming from 0 to 10 to some target range. So let's say 0 to 100. I think that's a good example. And if I run it, I need to, just set it something. And here you see we get 60, because what it basically checks is it sees, okay, how far along my interval am I? So 6 is well, exactly 60% like along the interval, and then it maps it again to 60% of the target interval. So if I, for example, do minus 100 to 100, here we get 20 because, like, yeah, I guess that's 60% along the interval. Or 5 would give us 0 here. But that's all it does. It's really not that difficult. It just like renormalizes it, does a lerp, but it's good that we don't have to like worry about the maths behind it. So we map range U, and we do the mouse pos of 0, so the x coordinate of the mouse, and it comes from, well, set val square dot x, and it goes to wait, it's gonna be a longer expression, so that plus set val square dot width dot size, and the target should be 0 to 1. Okay, so print the saturation, see if that works. So over here, I should get saturation around, well, I don't get anything. Target max. Oh, wait, I messed up. Like this, I guess, okay. So right here, we should now get, yeah, around 0. And up here, we get around 1. Again, with the edge detection, we can worry about that in a second. Okay, now we just do the same thing for the values. So for the y coordinate, let's just copy all of that. So the value is now the y coordinate of the mouse. It comes from y and again goes to y plus the size because it's a square. And let's print an f string. Sat is the sat and val is val. So yeah, but again, it's flipped now because we map the lower y values to the lower, well, output values so towards 0, and the higher y values towards the higher value. So we have to just swap this one right here. So, okay. So yeah, low saturation, high value. Both are high. This should be high saturation, low value. Yeah. And this is both are low. Great, okay, wonderful. So that sets the saturation and value. And how about, because this is the output color, or like I guess the selected color. Yeah. So you should actually be hue. No, so selected color is tuple. Or actually, we can do selected color. Color sys dot to RGB. No, HSV to RGB of the hue, the sat, and the val. The hue is still set at 0. That doesn't matter. And the val and the set we set in here. And I guess we could maybe initialize it at hue, sat, val is 0, 0, and 0. Just so we don't run into any issues. I guess maybe let's do 1 and 1. Let's do full saturation, full value. I think that's nicer. So, and you are going to be an R, G, and a B. And again, what I'll do is I'll draw like all the values times 255. G 255 times B. Okay. So yeah, that's hue 0 and full brightness. So what happens if I click down? Oh, 1. Yeah, there you go. And that does look to be the right color from what I can tell. Looks about right. Also, let's give the rectangle a bounding box. to make it consistent. So copy that. What was it? 30, 30, 30, 30, 30. Wait, what's the song by Stone Sour? 30, 30, 15, I think? Or what's gonna be the niche song reference for today's video? I'll look it up in the edit. So that, and you're gonna be -5. Yeah, -5 and then +5, +5. No, that didn't work. Why did it not work? Oh, +10 because I need to. Now I just compensated for the offset that I did +10. Okay, great. Okay. Also, is this just an illusion or are they like not at the same height? Let me just double check that. Oh yes, they aren't. Why though? I am drawing it at at 125. Huh? Why are you not at the same height? Oh no, because I guess I don't offset these. Basically, I'm offsetting them differently. So I need to do. No, I'm not offsetting this. No, no. I do this, and I offset you as well. So I do. What's that? +5 then, and +5. Let's see if that is the. Okay, I think now they're at least the same height. Yeah, and okay, now I just need to change the offset. That's fine. So at that, and you just do 5. 5 and then 5. Okay. No. Actually, why the old one? No. Should I do +10? Okay, okay, it works, whatever. That's fine. So, okay. So that changes the hue. Also now let's, before we tackle the hue, let's make it so that I can also drag, because I like dragging it around. That makes it a bit better. So, you know what, how about we break this out into a function. So we do something like set val set. Yeah, sure, set val set. Here, something like this, of a mouse pause. And then we just return that. Turn set val, I guess is the more correct term. Set val and val. So right here, set and val are set val of mouse pause. Okay. So I'll remove this for a second. So now I want to check if the event type is pygame.mouseMotion. And I also, actually, you know what? Can I not just do or event.type equals pygame. Can I not just put it in here? Oh, because I mean it works, but now it does it all the time if I move around. Okay, you know what? How about I'll just take you down here. I'll remove you again. And just make it an and. And now I think it should work. So Okay, I do copy it here, but whatever. So now I can just click. Or click and no. Oh, no, because so basically what I'm trying to do, maybe I should explain it a bit, is I want to have this dragging to see, you know, I can fine tune like the color I want. Right now I can't do that, and that's because this only checks for the event when I actually press it. So that's only for one frame when the state goes from not pressed to pressed. But we can actually get the pressed keys. So pressed keys is pygame.key.getPressed, I think. And let me look it up what that does. Because I think that like returns like a dictionary or something. Key get pressed. Yeah. Of every key on the... Yeah, so we get a list of Boolean values for every key. And I think I can just access... What if, just as a test, what if we do if... No, I'll just, I guess, outside the event loop for now. If pressed keys, I guess plural, off, and now I think I can just input like pygame.key mouse, no, what is left mouse? How do I get left? I know, but I guess this is for the key, you know, yeah, this would get keys. I want the mouse. Never mind, wait, I want... Yeah, mouse.get pressed. Yeah, never mind. So instead of... So anyway, we do if it's mouse motion and mouse dot... No, and pygame.mouse.get pressed, and left should be the 0th. So because, yeah, mouse.get pressed returns the state of the mouse buttons, which again is a sequence of booleans. So it's left mouse, middle mouse, and right mouse. So we need the 0th entry. I think this is not it. Yeah, wait, I need to call the method first and then... Yeah, and there you go. That's more like it. Wonderful. Okay, so I can set the saturation and the value. Now I want to do the same for the hue, which I guess... So wait, if it's mouse button down, set sat val. Let's have it like this. Set hue. So and if... Let's just put in a bounding box for the hue as well. So in here, self.bounding box is a pygame dot... No, capital R rect. That did confuse me a few times in the beginning. Capital R rect. Add self add x, y, width, and height. Height spelled correctly. Okay. So if hue bar dot bounding box dot collide point collide point of the mouse pos, then the hue is set hue of mouse pos. Let's be consistent. Let's make it a method as well, or a function, I guess. Def set val of mouse pos. And, well, the hue is again map range. Now we only care about the Y position because the X is already getting filtered in here as long as I collide with the rectangle. So mouse pos of 1. And it's coming from self.x to self.x plus... No, dot y. y, and oh, I guess you know what? How about we put this as a method of the well, our objects, because right now I'm implicitly already using the set val square, even though I didn't even set it, but I know Python doesn't care about it, so it's generous. So, but let's be a bit clean and a bit more rigorous about this and put this into here. So that's just just replacing everything with a self, and we do the same over here. So you are, and again you take a self.y, self.y plus self.width, no, height. And again, we map it from 1 to 0 because we invert it. And then we return the hue. Okay. Then I need to change the syntax. Here we do set val square dot, and we do hue bar dot set hue. And I guess here we do the same set val. No. Come on, val square dot. Okay. Okay. I think this should almost already work if everything's... So again, I can change the value and the saturation. Okay. Hue by object has no attribute set hue. Does it not? Oh, really, I call it the same. Okay. Okay. But now it does. Oh my god, look at that. That's great. Okay, let's implement the dragging. Same thing. So if we do set val here, and then here we do set, let's go down a bit, set the hue. So if hue bar dot bounding box dot collide point of mouse pos, we do hue is hue bar dot set hue of the mouse pos, and that should be it. All right, wonderful, great. Yeah, I don't want to drag out the video too long, so now here's the optimization, or here's like the thing you could do. You could add like a cursor here or a bar here, makes it a bit nicer, but we're coming up to an hour and I still have to do all the logic to display it. So again, if you want to do that, feel free to expand this project. I'll be sticking to this simple version. Now let's get the whole thing with the values up. Okay. For this, we'll need fonts. So let's actually, how about we collapse a bit? So we've done these, those are done. The map range is nice to have, but we'll not need it anymore, I guess. So up here at the initialization, I think we need to do pygame.font.init font. Okay, I'll look it up. So font, we do font.init, and then app font is, how do I set now the font? Font? No, that creates a new font. No, I want to set, I already like, we can just use some, like a font from my computer. I know there's the Stack Overflow discussion, but it's solved. Pygame display font. Let's just look up that. Up here. Okay, all right. I don't want any of this. Thank you very much. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Pygame.font. Oh, so it actually was the sys font. Okay, so I did actually have it right. So font.sys font. And now we could input, let's do Arial and make anti-aliasing true. So anti-alias is true. Oh no, we do it in the render, never mind. And size, okay, let's do 30. Yeah, and now we can render text. So let's do down here. Also, how about we move that setting of the hue of the square actually in here, and here, I guess I will need to do it. So that's all our squares to draw. Let's do the font stuff. Actually, we can move all that up as well. So let's do it up here. So, display color. Values, I don't know. So now we can do, let's do a test. So text is surface, how do you do that? Okay, so we render it. Okay, so we do app font.render, and now we do the text, we do test. And I like to set the anti-aliasing to true. The color should be, make it white. Why not? And now we just do screen.split. Now we just split the text because, well, that turns the surface basically onto here. What is that? 575 and do 200 maybe. Here in the tuple. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's good. So let's do 400. That was too much. Do 250. How about 250? 250. Let's do 300. Why not? We have more than enough space here. So, okay, that's gonna be one color space. So let's actually make this RGB text. So that's gonna be, we'll make it an F string. So RGB equals. And now we input our colors. So yeah, we actually even have them here. You know what? How about I pull it out? So I do R times equals 250. I can't do that, right? G 255 and B 255. And then in here we have just R, G, and B. That does work, and now I can just pass in R. Oh yeah, I need to update. Yeah, okay, I can. Okay, wonderful. So that's that. RGB. G and P. I don't know. Does that look good? And I guess we don't need to display like decimal points. Actually, wait. I just, the other day again, I learned some syntax. Can't I do .0f? No, it's in the, in here, wait. Here, can't I just do this? Yeah, okay, yeah, look, there, yeah. So basically what this syntax is, again, I just learned it the other day, is it says, okay, whatever that is, format it in the format of, and then you put in how many like decimal points you want to have. So I can just put in 2 maybe here, and the F is just stands for float. So now we have 2 decimal points no matter what. And if I set it to 0, then we don't have any. Or we could have also just converted it to an integer, but whatever. Okay, so that's that. Now we do HSV color space. So we do HSV text is our font renders, again, an F string, so HSV. And that is, again, just hue. And I guess now I need to do 255. Because, again, I just want to have it with this 255. Or do I? Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it depends. So there's also some applications that display the hue in terms of an angle, so going from 0 to 360 or something. So really, it's I've seen it all. And val, and we render hue. No, so we do the options, so true, and color is white again. And then we blit the HSV text. Let's make it test text here, yeah. And again, let's use our syntax here. Yeah, we might as well, now that I've learned it, and we might as well. Here, and I'll put it in parentheses just in case. Oh, actually, couldn't we? I'm sure there is a way to make it so, because right now if I, yeah, for example here, if I change the hue, you can see that it basically moves where the other like numbers are positioned. And if we would compare it with here, okay, they have their own roles, but whatever. But there is surely a way to fix that. Again, just to not blow up the scope of this video, I'll leave it at that. Again, that's some optional improvement we can make on this. So we have that. And now let's do the hex. Now, so hex text is app.font. Let's just do the bare bones. No, app font render no, f hex, and then something, anti-aliasing please, and color white. And then we do hex text at 400. Okay. Now, how does the hex code even work? So, what is this? Yeah, okay, this is RGB. Okay. Now, how it works basically? Let's actually, I'll make it. Well, let's show the example here. Make it a bit bigger. So, let's do this. So wait. I'll take a screenshot of this so I can draw on it. So, what it does is the hex is an, well, what's that? A 24-bit integer. So it'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I guess places. And this is why we display the numbers going from 0 to 255, because that's exactly 1 byte. And 1 byte can be represented with 2 hexadecimal numbers. You can just do the maths on that. So the entries in the hex code are going to be, these 2 are for the R, these 2 are for the G, and these 2 are for the blue, for the B, and we just convert whatever that integer is to hexadecimal. So 255 is FF in this case, and this is a bit of a trivial example, it's 00, but say instead of 1 we had, maybe let's do 10. So in here that's still 00, and now we need to display 10 in hexadecimal. Well, that's 9 plus 1, and from 9 hex we start using the alphabet, so that's A, so that's FF000A in this case, and basically that's the whole magic behind hex. Okay. I know Python has a hex function. Yeah, that is actually exactly what I want, right? So what if I do 255? So print me the hex of that. FF, yeah. Okay, it prefixes the 0x, but we can work with that because I can just say, well, start at 2. So that's FF. What if I do 32? That's 20 because it's 2 times 16 now in base 16. Yeah, so that's actually exactly what I want, you know? So hex should be well, hex of my number of my R, and again we'll just ignore this prefix of this the X. And the same for G, and the same for B. Put it in curly brackets, curly braces, I guess. And G, and I guess float object cannot be interpreted as an integer. I'm sure you can, but you just don't want. Okay, then. All right, here's what we'll do. We'll do you are an int of, well, whatever you are times 255. And now we shouldn't have any discussion about that. So. Okay, and actually, I don't know why I did this syntax here. And how about we give it like a... Do we need to do this? I guess. Wait. That's interesting. I'm just wondering why it's grayed out, because I guess now it's like seen as an... Oh, not seen as an operator. Oh, well. Maybe it's just something I haven't set up with my color scheme correctly, but... Actually, you know, I think I can check with it. So I do editor and token scopes. And what changes if I go single? Okay, I wouldn't know. Whatever. All right. I think this is it. Now, these are all the relevant color spaces that I'm going to be caring about. I know, again, Photoshop here has many more. We have CMYK as well, and whatever that is. I'll be honest, I'm not necessarily sure what that is, that color space. But yeah, and you know, how about as the grand finale of this video, we give it a bit of a test. So I'll pick some color. So let's pick this blue. And I'll bring my result. We can delete all that and I guess fill you. Bring that into Photoshop and we'll compare it with Photoshop. So I'll pick this color. And that already looks pretty promising because that's about where I clicked, I think. Let's compare the values. So the R is 85, 89, and 196. Okay, and this is what I mean. This one has it in degrees and percent, but what if we do... We could just convert that. So we do 238 divided by 360 times 255 gives us... sorry, I added 255 over 360 times 255 gives us 168, and that's exactly what we wrote. Yeah, looks okay. Hue saturation value looks right. And if we compare the hex code 5559, I guess you gave me C. Oh, did I just wait? Because that we have the same number here makes me think I just wrote, yeah, G twice, so blue. Okay, so let's do this test again now. Let's pick a different color. Let's pick a like a green here. Now, okay. Again, I'll hover this color. Right, 22, 125, and 10 looks good. The hex code is 16, 70. No, what? 16? Oh, okay. I guess one thing we have is we lose the 0 here, but that actually I guess makes sense because well, we can like show it. So we can do print hex of, well, what is the array of 10? And close this application. Yeah, and it gives us just A instead of 0A. I think instead of the hex, then we need to do format and 10. And now we pass like the specs in here. So 0. What if I do 0x? Is that? Yeah, okay. So again, this displays it as a hex value. And I'm pretty sure you can like specify the format in as the name implies, the format. So what if I do 0x2? No, I do 20x. Alright, whatever that is. x02. Yeah, that is what I wanted. Yeah, so now it gives as a 2-digit hex number because I remember using this for the binary outputs. So what if I put 4 in here? Yeah, now we get the 4 digits, so that's exactly what we want. So let me just replace. Oh, and actually the format is better because we don't even get the 0 something. So yeah, let's just use the formats. Format of R, and the format is 0 to X. And now we do this for all. So in here are, wait, what do you not like? What did I mess up now? Wait, hold on, let me go back. 0 to X, okay. Format, probably I just missed the parentheses or something. So G and the B as yeah, see, it's good that we did this testing because we actually did find some bugs in our code. Right, let's do again. Let's now pick maybe an orange here, something like this. Screenshot it and bring it into Photoshop. Now, okay, as again the RGB looks good. Now check the hex codes. So 98, 8. Yeah, 3A, and again, we actually did run into this corner case again. We get 0C now correctly. All right, wonderful. Now, yeah, as I said, there probably is, not probably, but there is a lot you could change about this color picker. You could add the cursors, and maybe here like some bar or something to show where you're at. And what would probably be very useful is like some button or something to be able to copy those values out, because if I like set a color in here, I'd want, for example, the hex value, because then I can reuse it in, for example, here I can make a surface, and now okay, I want this color, and if the surface, and I could just paste it in, would be very useful. But I think I know how to do it with tkinter. I wouldn't have an idea how to do it with Python. So yeah, I think we're gonna call it here. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, see you in the next video.